You have to know the difference between making the argument concerning your natural law rights and the current predicament of being a member of the political, what's known as the political community, which is the state, the jural society, etc., etc. Okay? You have to know the difference between the two. As I've stated a multiplicity of times, there is a distinction between what is deemed positive law and natural law. That is undeniable. I can prove that hands down. Where the problem comes in is when you try to make that argument, number one, especially in a situation of where you're indicted or accused of committing a crime. You cannot use that argument at that particular point in time because of the fact that the accusation or being adjudicated for a crime it's not recognized. That argument of the separate entity from my natural self, my natural law rights, that the criminal law does not make allowance to recognize that argument. Okay? We'll talk about why another time. But if you're anything like me, or as I was, I'll say, you were making that argument. You were saying it's clear in the law, it's clear that I'm a natural man, you know, and that I'm not a legal entity. And then we found that by definition in the Black's Law 5th edition, a citizen is a member, okay, who is subject to the United States and of the state in which you reside. It's subject to. But more importantly, emphasis on a member. A member of what? A political community. It's a particular type of community that you have become a member of. And so, if you've ever joined by way of an application and taken up membership in a particular business or association, you know that that business or association has policies, and those policies are found within the manual, okay? And they expect all of their members to abide by the policies that are spelled out in that manual. And if you are not willing to do that, then more than likely the owners, the CEO, president, whatever, will kindly, perhaps not kindly, ask you to remove yourself from the establishment or disqualify you from any further membership benefits, okay? And so what you'd want to do if you value your position in that association or in that business is you're going to want to make sure you align yourself with the policies. Now, that business was established for a particular purpose. That association was established for a particular purpose. Okay, the owners had a particular goal or service that they were looking to provide. And so the members likewise are, it is presumed that the members, I should say, have the same vision. Why would you want to be a member of something that you don't agree with or align with, right? You wouldn't. Put it this way. You know that there are at least two political parties, or main parties, I'll say. If you do not align with the Democrats and what they stand for, then you probably won't join by way of a membership with that particular party, right? Okay. So with that being said, again, citizenship is a membership in a particular state or AKA political community. And so you wouldn't align yourself with a particular state that you didn't agree with. Some states have different statutes, okay? Some are more liberal, some are more conservative, and you have a choice, voluntarily, a choice, a voluntary choice to move throughout the nation and to become a citizen or resident of whatever state you choose. And so, again, to make certain arguments that, you know, when a criminal accusation is brought against you, this is why the courts don't recognize the argument of, well, I'm a natural law man, I'm an individual, I'm not a legal entity. Well, did you sign up to play the game? Did you volunteer to be subject as a citizen underneath the policies, the manual, the constitution of that particular state? Did you do that? Okay, so you're going to get less traction if you try to make that argument, is my point. Now, with that being said, and finally, all that I said previously is not fatal or does not detract away from the existence of you naturally, separately from the corporate personality, legal personality, jural personality. The two exist independently. Now, again, are you going to be able to use that argument when put under the scrutiny of the legal system for a criminal accusation? No. No, you're not. Because the court in the state, being a legislative court, an Article I court, is there to administer the statutes of that particular state. They're not there to create new policies, okay? They're there merely to enforce the statute, to interpret the intent of the legislature, okay? This is not the time to get the judge to create new policy or create a new statute because you brought a revelation of your natural law existence at that particular point in time. That's not the time to do that. That's why they can't recognize that, because that's outside of their jurisdiction. Remember, there's the doctrine or principles of the separation of powers, okay? So they can't become all of a sudden the legislative branch and set you free, you know, creating a new policy. They can't do that. And secondly, recall and remember that the whole reason you're there under criminal accusation or allegation is because the district attorney or assistant district attorney or someone is basically accusing you of a violation of the state statute themselves. Now, they are bringing the action against you as the plaintiff on perhaps behalf of the state, right? On behalf of the state. So they have a right to bring that allegation, but they have to prove that allegation. And you are merely defending against it. They have to prove it. The burden of proof is on the one that is making the claim. And so everybody has their day in court. And again, there are, when being accused of something, a criminal matter, you only have certain defenses, certain times to bring those defenses, okay? And neither of your defenses available to you will include the claim that I am not a citizen or that I am not a legal entity. Those just aren't inclusive. They're not included. And so they cannot be recognized in the judicial system. Now, as I've stated before, that is not the time to make that argument. What you must do is you must bring your own action subsequent to the claim of the district attorney or assistant district attorney on behalf of the state. You have to bring your own action, your own claim, and then the burden will be on you to prove your claim. Well, if your claim is that, hey, the corporate personality exists, I can prove it, and therefore the whole point of the corporate personality is to insulate the individual, the incorporator, the man or woman, from direct liability, right? That's the whole point of it. Why do you create an LLC, a limited liability corporation? Why? It's to separate your individual assets that you have personally and individually, right, from the assets of the newly created entity, the LLC, having its own legal name, recognized as separate and distinct from you in law and by law, right? So since it's recognized separately by law, then it has to be able to stand on its own. And therefore it's not you. If you appreciate this type of information and want to hear more, look down in the description of this and other videos to find out how to get more. All right? And now you've been made free. The question is, what are you going to do with it? We'll talk to you soon.